Welcome everybody to another video of Ancient Greece Reloaded. Today we will talk about the famous Medusa, the snake-haired Gorgon. By the way, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so as to stay tuned for upcoming videos. Arguably, Medusa is the most famous villainess and monster of Greek mythology, for Medusa was the monster with the hair of snakes and a stony gaze encountered by the hero Perseus. In the oldest Greek mythological tales, there were three Gorgons, of which Medusa was but one. Hesiod would write in the Theogony that the three Gorgons were Euryale, Sthenno and Medusa, with these three monstrous sisters being the offsprings of Phorcys and Ceto. Phorcys and Ceto also being parents to other monstrous characters including Echidna, Ladon and the Graeae. Some ancient texts tell of how Ceto would give birth to Medusa and the other Gorgons in one of the caverns located deep beneath Mount Olympus. The traditional description of Medusa and her sisters were of winged women with large heads that had large staring eyes and the tusks of swine. Additionally, the Gorgons were also said to have had hands made of brass. The most striking feature of Medusa and her sisters would be the hair upon their heads, for each lock was made up of a hissing snake. Medusa was not considered the most deadly of the three Gorgons though, for this acolyte was given to Sthenno, who it was said had killed more people than Medusa and Euryale combined. The home of Medusa and her sisters was a closely guarded secret, a secret kept by the Graeae, but Hesiod suggested that the Gorgons lived upon an island close to the island of the Hesperides, at the western extremes of the known world, although later writers also claimed Medusa and her sisters were to be found in Libya. Medusa transformed. Although Hesiod gives an account of Medusa's origins and the death of Medusa at the hands of Perseus, he does not say more about her. By contrast, a more comprehensive account of Perseus and Medusa can be found in Ovid's Metamorphoses. In the oldest traditions, Medusa, like her sisters, was thought to have been monstrous, but later writers would tell of a transformation of Medusa, from beautiful woman into a monster, although keeping the parentage of Phorcys and Ceto the same. As a beautiful maiden, Medusa would become an attendant in one of the temples dedicated to Athena. Some tell of how Medusa foolishly declared herself as beautiful as Athena. But this was not her only indiscretion, for the beauty of Medusa would attract the attention of the sea god Poseidon. Poseidon would give in to his lustful thoughts by raping Medusa in Athena's temple. This act of sacrilege could not go unpunished by Athena, but of course Poseidon could himself not be punished, and so Athena instead punished Medusa by transforming her into a monster. Medusa would then leave her home to live with the other Gorgons. The quest for Medusa's head. Medusa is best known to today for her role in the adventures of the Greek hero Perseus. King Polydeuces of Seriphos wanted to get rid of Perseus, so that he could have his way with Perseus' mother Danae. Polydeuces would trick Perseus into accepting a quest to obtain the head of Medusa, Perseus believing that it was to be a wedding gift, so that Polydeuces could marry another woman, not Danae. As Medusa was the only Gorgon that was mortal, she was the only one that could be decapitated, although of course Polydeuces assumed that Perseus would be killed by the Gorgon. Perseus and Medusa. Perseus though was a son of Zeus and also a mortal favored by his half-sister the goddess Athena. Athena would supply Perseus with a reflective shield, a razor-sharp curved sword manufactured by Hephaestus, Hades' helmet of invincibility and Hermes' flying sandals. Fully armed, Perseus would force the location of Medusa from the three Graeae and the hero made his way to the Gorgon's lair. Perseus would choose a time when Euryale and Sthenno were asleep in their caves, before entering the cave of Medusa. By looking into the reflective shield, Perseus was able to approach Medusa without being harmed by the gaze of the Gorgon, and then one cut with a razor-sharp sword was enough to cleave the head of Medusa from her body. Perseus then picked up the head of Medusa and deposited it into the satchel that he had brought with him. Perseus then put on the helmet of invincibility and made a rapid escape as Sthenno and Euryale were awake and now aware of the fate of their sister. Children of Medusa. When Perseus decapitated Medusa, it was said the two offspring emerged from the open neck wound. These two children of Medusa were Pegasus, the mythical winged horse used to great effect by Bellerophon, and the second child was Chrysaor, the golden giant who would become the king of Iberia. Perseus himself did not make use of Pegasus despite the many depictions of him doing so, for Perseus still had the winged sandals of Hermes to allow him to fly. The story of Medusa continues. The story of Medusa in Greek mythology continued briefly after her decapitation. Ethiopia. Perseus' return journey to Seriphos was a long one, and stopping off in Ethiopia, Perseus discovered that Andromeda was to be sacrificed to a sea monster. Now, some tell of how Perseus turned that sea monster into stone with the head of Medusa, but older myths have Perseus stabbing the monster through its shoulder until it was killed. Certainly though, Perseus did make use of the head of Medusa in Ethiopia. For having rescued Andromeda, Perseus then married the princess. During the feasting though, Perseus would be attacked by Phineus and his followers, and after a thrown spear missed Perseus, the demigod killed many, before Perseus removed the head of Medusa from its satchel, turning all of his enemies, including Phineus, to stone. The blood of Medusa. As Perseus flew over the desert area of North Africa, so blood started to seep out of the satchel, and when Medusa's blood fell upon the desert sands, so poisonous snakes were created. Also, during his journey back to Seriphos, Perseus would rest a while at the shoreline of the Red Sea. The blood of Medusa would once again seep out of the satchel, making its way into the sea, creating as it did the hard red coral found even today in the Red Sea. Moreover, the blood of Medusa would be given to Asclepius at a later date by the goddess Athena. The blood was of course normally deadly, but Asclepius managed to make potions out of that could cure many ailments. The head of Medusa. A myth would emerge that Perseus encountered the Titan Atlas during his return journey, Atlas fulfilling his role of holding the heavens aloft. Atlas though talked down to Perseus, and in retribution, Perseus used the head of Medusa to turn Atlas to stone, possibly creating the Atlas Mountains as he did so. This myth though doesn't sit well with the fact that Heracles, a descendant of Perseus, encountered the non-petrified Atlas generations later. The wedding of Danae and Polydectes. Perseus suddenly made use of the head of Medusa upon Seriphos, for when he returned home, Perseus found that King Polydectes was forcing Danae to marry him. As the wedding ceremony was taking place, Perseus removed the head of Medusa from its satchel and turned Polydectes and the assembled wedding guests to stone. With his quest completed, Perseus presented the head of Medusa to Athena, the goddess who had done much to aid Perseus during his adventures. Athena would subsequently put the head of Medusa onto her own shield, Heracles, making her shield an attacking weapon as well as a defensive one. Athena was said to have given a lock of Medusa's hair to Heracles, who subsequently gave it to Sterope, the daughter of King Cepheus, to keep the city of Tegea safe, whilst her father and brothers went to war against Epicon and his sons fighting alongside Heracles. Let us finish with the following saying: pleasure, a most mighty lure to evil. Plato. That being said, remember guys to hit the like button and to subscribe to our channel, it would help us a lot. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for upcoming videos.